Wallace. That was very naughty.
Naughty.
Hello and welcome to the Quackcast. This is Quackcast number 351. I'm Ozone Ocean, and with me is the Drunk Duck players, the Quackcast players, the repertory cast for tonight's entertainment. We have Pitface.
Oh, you...
You can't say that. we have Tanserine.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello. And then we have Mr. Baines.
Yes.
A fine actor, very noted British actor, Baines. So what this Quackcast is about is scripts. We have, I asked for scripts in a news post a couple of weeks ago, and we've had some drunk duckers who are kind enough to provide us scripts for their comics. So we, the whole exercise was about writing script versions of your comic so people could read it out and your characters could come to life. So it's a way of promoting your comic, but also a way of getting experience and having actual live actors play some of the roles and learning how to do a script, because that's for like one of the next logical stages in the creative process. You've written a work and now you want it to go further and be bigger, so you may as well practice making scripts, and that's what this Quackcast is about. But before we get into that, I've got to introduce the featured comic, and the featured comic this week was Mercenary Bound. So, take it away, Ozone Ocean, with Mercenary Bound. Hello, I'm Ozone Ocean, and my feature for the week was Mercenary Bound. Sometimes boredom is an enviable state. Unemployed mercenary Tamika is about to find out why, when the normal life she's built for herself is cruelly shattered and she has to take up her sword in anger once more. Tamika is a dangerous woman with a troubling reputation in her home world. How much is myth? How much are true stories? In this world, though, no one knows that. In this world, she had peace. Till now. The art is fully digital and nicely coloured. The story has action, adventure, comedy, and terror. Mercenary Bound skips along at a good pace with effortless flashbacks and flash forwards, which are very hard to do well anyway. You'll find it a fun read, though you may have to zoom in to read some of the text on occasion. Mercenary Bound is a comic written and illustrated by Angelajo. 91. Rated T. This is, as I said before, there's comedy, there's action, there's adventure, there's terror, all these different elements in the comic. So it's got a good mix of stylistic and genre elements. I found it quite fun. The art is also very pretty and full colour, so that really looks good too. It's a really pleasant, fun comic to read. You find yourself drawn into the world and getting quite addicted by it. And looking forward to seeing how it develops and what's going to happen with poor Tamika. We're learning more about her past and how she became like she is now, and the situation she's in now, which is quite dire. You know, what's going to happen to her? What's going to happen to her partner? What's going to happen to the world in which she finds herself if she's bringing this terror, this horrible stuff from her home world back to this normal one which she finds herself, which is pretty much like our world. I think that is. It's set in our world, whereas where she comes from is a more fantasy kind of world based on a North African kind of a fantasy version of that. Anyway, I hope you enjoy Mercenary Bound by Angelajo 91. And that was our featured comic, Mercenary Bound. Okay, so next up we have the featured music that Gumwallace has given us this week, and the featured music was The Cosmic Star. Fly on out into the deepest reaches of space, far, far out of space with us. This tune will groove you on out there smoothly past the glittering star systems and the vast whirling galaxies. Just lie back and get comfortable, relax, close your eyes, and let the universe roll on by.
There you go.
This is a comic by Super Zentradi, rated E. And that was The Cosmic Star by Gumwallis. Okay, so here we are. We're going to do these scripts now. We're going to do them.
Right.
We have several scripts by several people that we're going to do. We've got one by Used Books, which is fantastic. We've got one by Jason Moon. Good old Jason. We have one by Margie Jabberwock. We have one by M. Mavsa. And finally, we have a very funny one by Cam. Good old Cam. So now we're going to give you Used Books. Okay, the first play we have, Used Books. Used Books is, of course, by Vicky Boutwell. She has an amazing comic called Used Books, and it's a very, very long-running comic that everything occurs in a small town. There's all sorts of dramas and crimes and things like that happening in the good old comic of Used Books. Alright, so this is a scene she picked out. It's not particularly action-packed, but it has a lot of emotion and character drama, so she figured it would be good for an experiment. It included she includes a bit of an intro and a backstory to assist whichever of the Drunk Duck players, us, want to take on the roles. This is a scene from Used Books, chapter 116, The Hornet's Nest. The character casting, we have Yuki, who will be played by Pitface. She's 28 years old, tall, well-built, former law enforcement, should be athletic, but feminine, dresses all in pink, childlike and carefree in her love of life, but very capable and intelligent.
You know, that's me to a T.
Oh yeah, always in pink. It's
Done.
just, can't get you out of it. We have Lee, who's Yuki's brother, who's a strong family resemblance. He's 37 years old, somewhat taller than Yuki, very upper middle class suburban basketball coach, father of two girls, very, very much Baines. Very
Yes, all of it, especially
arrogant and callous.
Yes.
Very true. So the scene backstory. Yuki has been investigating the accidental death of brother Brandon and has assembled a good amount of circumstantial evidence suggesting her other brother Lee was involved. Yuki is very close to her family and has been struggling with this and the suspicion that her father may be tied to organized crime. Brandon spoke of stumbling upon evidence against their father before he died. Yuki has spent the previous scenes psyching herself up for this confrontation. In this scene, Yuki arrives at Lee's home in the gated cul-de-sac to confront him with her suspicions.
December in an upper middle class cul-de-sac. Yards and houses are decked out with Christmas lights and decorations. Lee's front garden boasts a classy nativity scene. Lee is working in his front garden when his sister Yuki arrives on her pink motorcycle.
Hey, Barbie. What's up?
I need to talk to you about Brandon.
Oh, his death has been hard on you, huh?
This isn't about me. You were the last person to see him alive.
Really? Damn, I feel kind of bad.
Kinda bad? You met him in a bar. You bought drinks for a recovering alcoholic.
Oh, please. Brandon wasn't recovering. He wasn't even trying. I bought him a beer. I thought he had a ride. He was still in the bar when I left.
Oh my god. Seriously? You left with Brandon. There are witnesses. You told the bartender that you were his designated driver.
You're gonna take the word of a bimbo bartender over your own brother?
Absolutely. Especially when that bimbo is the owner and a close personal friend of Detective Price.
I did leave with Brandon. I was driving him home, but we had a stupid fight. He kicked me out and drove off.
I don't believe you.
Why not? It's the truth.
Done is lie. Your word is worthless.
Call Falcon Taxi. The driver who picked me up was named Eddie Patel.
Good memory, Lee. It's like you expected to need an alibi.
With Brandon's track record, it couldn't hurt.
I'm done with you.
Hey, mind your cop friends. You know how dangerous this town can be. Patrol the wrong neighborhood, wrong time of night.
You're threatening my friend now? Pathetic.
Comic we have up. The next script was from Jason Moon. He gave us Crater's Edge. Now, Crater's Edge is an interesting comic. It's a very highly detailed, very fascinating piece of artwork. I'll give you a bit of a description of Crater's Edge because it's such a very intensive piece of work. It's a fantasy comic, and everything occurs in the forest planet of Freya. So, in the Northern Territories, where monsters live. Okay, so that's the setting. Well, the comic by Jason Moon.
Jason Moon. So these are the roles for Crater's Edge scene. We have Kigo, who's a little boy, worried about his sick mother. And then, of course, his mother, who is sick and out of breath. The narrator will be an older Kigo who explains the activities that have been happening in the woods. We have a couple of soldiers, number 1 and number 2. And that's it. The setting is, and context is like a little Kigo is out in the deep woods with his sick mother. They're in their hut. The mother is sick in bed and Kigo is standing over her concerned.
What can I do to help?
I'm fine, Kigo. Please, go to Victoria. Don't waste your time here. I know you can make it into the child soldier program. Your father, you can say, and...
I'm not leaving you like Dad did. You need help living out here, and you'll bite.
Oh, sweetie, the bite is nothing. I probably caught the cold. That's why I'm sick.
Creatures have started appearing, and forest folk have started disappearing. Rumors say cracks in the ground have opened up, and little creatures have been surfacing. I heard a soldier say there is a bug that bites people, and the people were killing each other in some town. I'm worried my mum was bit by a strange bug.
Mum, you're burning up with a fever, and the forests have become dangerous. I'm not leaving you.
It's too late, Kigo. Recruits are on their way. I want you to be taken care of. You're such a good boy, Kigo.
What?
Double time! Pigeon came up with coordinates of a Juka bug infection. It came a few hours ago, so there may be changelings.
Damn creatures have been appearing more and more!
Kigo, please. Oh no!
Mum, what's wrong?
Kigo!
Next up, we have the comic Daryl and Susie. This is a comic by Meiji Jabberwock about a dragon and a little 9-year-old girl. He lives with her, and there's various monsters inside his head that come out and do various things. So the following scene takes place in the living room of Daryl, the adult dragon, and Susie, the 9-year-old girl. While it's raining outside, Daryl is reading the newspaper while Susie is forlorn about the rain. We hear rain pattering against the windows, as well as the rustling of a newspaper. This is followed by footsteps. Susie approaching Daryl.
Daryl? Daryl?
Yes?
I want to go outside and play, but it's raining.
Mm-hmm.
So I was wondering, since you're a big, scary dragon, could you go outside and use your scary dragon powers to scare away the rain?
Look, Susie, I don't think I can.
Why not use one of the monsters that live in your head?
Look, Susie.
Pretty please.
All right. I'll try to scare away the rain, but no add monsters. Okay, Rain. Listen here, and listen good. Oh, I hope no monsters escape from my head. Oh dear.
Next up, Constellation Chronicles. This is a comic by Emevza. This is a comic I featured not long ago. It's sort of a horror in space, pretty much, if you have a look at it. So, here we go with Emevza.
And Constellation Chronicles. Marcel and Wainwright have been sent to investigate a research spaceship gone missing at the edge of the star system, Massilia. Despite the beacon being recently sent to the C&G United Recon Union, the only semblance of life left on board the ship is a service droid that Marcel takes to very quickly. As Marcel begins looking through the system records to establish a timeline as to what might have happened to the crew, his partner Wainwright begins looking for the black box.
I'll be honest, I'm starting to think this isn't a rescue mission anymore.
Yeah, no shit. I found some maintenance files for GB.
Oh jeez, you named it? You can't keep it, you know that, right? Your radio silence is a great comfort.
Listen, Genius, I'm being serious this time. I've been going through them and it's looking well screwy. So each service droid gets serviced once every half conjunction.
So it's a bit banged up. Big deal. We knew that already.
Wainwright ZB hasn't been serviced in over 2 conjunctions. This ship has been empty with no one about for ages. Alarm bells better be ringing, pal, because that beacon we're here for was only just sent to command.
Marcel, you remember our first job on Aquila? Doesn't this ship remind you of that?
Oh,
Look, I know this place perturbs you, but once we get this black box, we're gone, okay? Buddy?
alright then.
There you go. That's the delusional optimist I know. Holy hell!
Wainwright has found the abandoned control room. Bubbles of water floating about as the chairs and panels collect rust. He falls silent for a moment, taking in this moment of the sublime.
Wainwright? What's going on there? For God's sake, man! Answer me, Wainwright!
Calm down, I'm still here.
Oh, thanks to God.
I think something is screwed loose. The anti-grav is a bit off and the main is broken. Bloody water everywhere!
ZB, the service droid, in his floral pink apron, approaches, offering Marcel a cup of tea in a dirty cup.
Oh, GB.
Strangely enough, there's something beautiful about it. I've never seen anything like this.
Look, is the black box there or not?
No sign yet, but I did find the control panel. Won't take me long to get it open.
Good to hear you're once again focused. Hey, this is just a random thought. Do you think Grace would be mad if I brought GB back with us? I mean, a quick service and a lick of paint and then he'd be good to go, don't you think?
Wainwright reaches for a black box underneath the control desk.
Do you think it's worth bringing up that old argument again? You only just sorted out the last one.
This time it isn't a disused weapon call. Could use the help and here it is.
Why do you really want to take it home, Marcel? Do you think this droid will magically fix everything?
That's not what... It doesn't mean that...
What? What doesn't it mean? We've had this same conversation how many times now? You can't keep doing this to yourself.
No. I've come to accept what happened. No, there was nothing anybody could do. I don't blame myself anymore, but that doesn't fill the emptiness that's left. For the both of us. I know ZB is just a droid, that I can live to rot, to be forgotten. But maybe, just maybe, this hunk of junk can help us fill the void that has been left. Gracie and I could feel like we're giving something a home again, even if it is just for a second. Because maybe pretending it's happy will mean one day soon we could be too.
You know, maybe you need to get this real when we're home. Gracie needs you.
I guess I haven't made it easy on her, have I?
Look, if I agree, you're taking the double drive shift back to the station, alright, pal?
Absolutely! It's a deal!
Good, because I'm tired of all this real talk. We have a black box to get home safely.
Wait! You found it? Jeez, what are you waiting for? Open it! Open it, open it, open it!
I was hoping to do it by the book this time.
Open it, open it, open it!
We really should wait till we're back at the...
Open it, open it, open it!
Fine! Gods above, every bloody time, just one day I would like to do this my way.
Open it.
Huh. That's odd.
What is?
The tape. It's not here. It's some bizarre thing. Rock, maybe?
Wayne White, quit messing about. You're freaking me out. Wayne White?
Marcel! What happened? Marcel, answer me! Marcel! The Kameks is our next comic script. The Kameks by Cam, which is a very funny comic because Cam is a very funny guy. I hope you like the Kameks. Okay, this one rhymes with which? The Muzzy Mallard Awards by Cam.
At the home of Rosemary, who has a webcomic on the hosting site Muzzy Mallard.
Beth, I've been nominated for the Muzzy Mallard Award.
Oh, Rosemary, that's fantastic. What category?
Best simplistic art? Who do I kill first?
Now, wait a minute. Maybe they just picked the wrong word. You do draw in a Bigfoot style rather than an overly detailed Rivet Man style.
True.
Let's look at some of your opponents. Cut Up by Scissor Man.
Wait, that's just cutouts of people in colored paper and photographs. Is that even art?
Apparently. Next is Curves and Angles by Ben D. Straight.
Geometric shapes with stick figure arms and legs.
Finally, there's Stick Figures in Snow by Artless.
Stick figures? On a white background? Ah, I really don't want to lose this award.
The night of the awards.
How did Muzzy Mallard get a bard to agree to let them put on the award show?
Winners celebrate! Losers get drunk!
Oh, look at the time. We've missed most of the early ceremony.
That's okay. I don't care about any of the other categories. Besides, the people putting it together this year wanted it to be inclusive and honor as many people as possible, such as the best left-handed spriter from the state of Ohio. Just in time for the best award. Mine!
Excuse me, but there's been a disqualification in an earlier award.
Ah, I don't care.
It turns out the winner of the best left-handed spriter from the state of Ohio is really ambidextrous.
But I sprite with my left hand.
Later,
I still can't believe you lost to stick figures in snow.
Yes! But thinking it over makes sense. The category was best simplistic art. So clearly my art was too complex for the category.
Really?
That's my delusion, and I'm sticking to it.
a few days later, after the hangover,
Are you going to leave up the nominated banner on your comic?
Why not? I don't see any reason to tell. Did it just blink?
Yes! And now it's flashing, loser, loser, loser.
Down the banner goes.
Alright guys, how do you feel that recording went as being the Quackcast players? How
Well,
I
I'm ready to
thought-
leave comics and go into acting and this whole time.
there you go.
Exactly.
I think so. I
It's,
think we need to embark on a whole new career.
It's really fun. I was saying off mic, I was saying that how neat it was that Tense was playing the silly characters, the overly cheerful, and everything was unusual to hear her that way. So I thought that was pretty fun.
I like being Marcel. I thought that was a fun role.
Yeah.
And
I hope.
I'll go on.
No, please go on.
Tance's Rosemary is fantastic.
Yes, Rosemary the drunk.
It's really the script that inspired, especially Rosemary. I mean, it was very well done, flowed really well, and mental image of Rosemary was this overly happy, not very, not super intelligent, very self-centered and very silly girl. So that was a lot of fun. That was actually cathartic. There are so many, so little, so few is the correct grammar. The few occasions to be silly. So that was fun.
And I quite liked Baines and Pitt as Lee and Yuki. That was really good.
I like doing that too, and actually that for me
Yeah.
was just the opposite of what Tan said, because usually, Oz and I used to do voices, and the four of us did have two, like when we're reading forum posts and stuff like that, we'll do these character voices, but I didn't in that, or in this one really, because it was more like trying to get the intent across, like to be kind of glib but faking it, and then to get a little bit angry.
Yeah.
And making the sort of sentences sound like a person talking, and not sounding read. So, that's hard. Like, it takes a lot of focus to do that. That's kind of what I liked about doing it.
It does.
It does.
Came out
Yeah,
well.
that's why it's important to read it over a couple times like we did before we actually went on, because, to be honest, those first times that we read the scripts through, as I'm reading my parts at least, I don't really think much about what's being said in the context. It takes once or twice in order to really kind of digest, like, all right, so this is what's going on. And so I need to sound like this because of this reason.
Yeah.
The direction helps, and it's you need the direction there, but sometimes you don't really absorb it until you've read it once or twice.
Yeah, it's sort of like the way the sentences are constructed can be kind of weird too, which makes sense for people's dialogue, and just to kind of unravel what they mean. like when they're being sarcastic and what they're getting at, and then getting all the words right.
For me, it was a bit the opposite in that the more times I read it, the further away I got from the intent. So I became more reading it out rather than actually imagining myself as a character. So
there's that crest. Yeah.
You can lose it.
Well, especially because you intend that one that you guys read out was so long compared to the others, and it's I'm sure after a while you kind of start to drone a little bit. But I don't know, you guys sounded good.
It's you have this moment when you're imagining yourself the character, you're feeling like the character, and then you do it a few times, and then you just become, okay, this is my part, I have to read it. I'm reading it now, and you're not really imagining yourself as a character anymore, unfortunately.
You're kind of more trying to get the point across and making sure like you're speaking clearly
and remembering the way you acted last time.
Yeah. That's why it's good that we didn't do too many read throughs. Sorry, Tens. Beforehand, because you kind of run out of steam, and please.
No, it's just the chat pauses too much sometimes. So I think that you are finished, and then I start talking, and then I feel like I'm being a douchebag and cutting you off all the time.
Well, I didn't want to say it.
Anyway, what I wanted to say was that two things I wanted to say. First was on this longer script, the biggest effort for me was to keep it consistent. And halfway through, I was a little bit unhappy that I had chosen to make Marcel a French guy. But Marcel as a name always brings a baguette holding French guy in my head. So, yeah.
And you said like conjunction. I wanted to tell you, I noticed that. Yeah. This is funny.
There's a good, well-written script. I mean, all the scripts are really, really good. But you have to sort of fit yourself into the style of writing of the writer, and some lines can be awkward, like Child Soldier, which was something, Tance, you found it. It's a corpsing moment, I think, that one. Cool.
Yeah, that was hard because the mother is obviously trying to set her son up in a situation where he will be able to sustain himself and survive and everything, but he is going off to be a child soldier. So that is so conflicting in my concept of the thing, and it always struck me as very Monty Python. It makes me I laughed, like when in our rehearsals, I always laughed at it and had to pick it back up.
And then we had when we were doing the readings, everything went smoothly straight through for everything until we got to the Constellation Chronicles, and towards the end there we had to redo the last lines about 5 times or something.
I think you were just getting fatigued and
yeah.
I don't know. We were doing it right, and then we did a different read through, and then everything was just going.
Everything was off after that.
That's weird because it didn't seem that bad to me, but that was a lot of dialogue, and you guys were doing all of it. So yeah, like Pitt said, you're kind of getting tired, and it gets sort of frustrating. But just listening to it was very easy.
Okay. I can't wait.
I do have a word of advice, though. In case we do this again, or just in general, for anybody who's interested in script writing and stuff. Not that I'm the authority here. Tanya and Baines could talk about it much more, but one thing is somebody reading these things out. Try and put your characters at the beginning. List what characters are there and stuff, and what they'll be doing. One or two people did that, but not everybody did it. So that was kind of hard for us to kind of go back and pick out how many there are. And I don't know, it's just good. It kind of gives you a little bit of direction of what's going on and stuff. Set up the scene a little bit. Think of it, if somebody was telling you about a story, what are the key things that you want to know? So just a little piece of advice for anybody else who writes these things.
Good pointers there. Give us tell us all the characters. Okay, there's three characters. It'll be the Sprider, Rosemary, Beth. Oh no, 4 characters. The announcer. That kind of thing. And yeah. It's just so
and you don't have to be super detailed, just like a paragraph of what's going on, not a full page of exposition, but just a little setup, like a paragraph's worth or so.
Also, if you have any, I think you should, as the creator, have a preference on how you wanted the characters to sound, in the sense that this one sounds cultured, or this one should sound like a hillbilly, or this one should sound stupid, or whatever. Give us an impression of what you want us to deliver. That would help. Otherwise, you risk our interpretation.
It could be French.
Keep in mind. Exactly.
Unless you want people to be a little bit more free with it, but if that's not what you're going for, then definitely precise with what your characters are like.
It's definitely go ahead, man.
I was just going to say I really enjoyed it, and I'd love to do a longer one where we're all doing the characters and not switching to another script and just something big.
I really like doing it. It's neat to look at sort of the intent, especially like I said, to sort of read about okay, this is where the character's coming from. This is what they're, they're defensive at first and they get a little angry and that's kind of neat too.
Yeah, that was awesome for the
be an actor, sort of. Yeah.
Yeah, she did it really well, I think.
Yeah. I have to say that this used books delivery that you both did made me jealous. I wanted you to act out the scene where Basil and Orestes are having this huge argument and end up trying to beat each other. So you inspired me.
She wants to see us beat the shit out of each other, Baines, is what she said.
Actually, yelling at Pitt is very satisfying, cathartic.
Yeah. I don't know what I did wrong. I'm sorry. I keep saying I'm sorry.
I love the dialogue between Marcel and Wainwright and how they were talking about the relationship problems that Marcel had, and it's time to get real, man.
I liked them all, but that one actually really made me want to read the comic. Especially getting to hear that scene twice and say, oh, it's really neat. They're on an interesting mission. They both have stuff going on. There's problems at home and stuff. It's very intriguing, but
yeah, I love that.
Still was a quick back and forth, and funny, and it was cool.
I also liked how you did the girl in the Dragon Daryl.
Yeah.
I hope the writer is okay with that.
Daryl. I could see
it's very charming.
It played like a Hanna-Barbera.
Exactly. I was trying to channel the little girl from Mary Poppins. That's what I was thinking.
Very
cute.
I don't remember any of her actual lines, but.
Oh, jeez.
You remember that she was little and a girl.
She was little and a girl, and she talked really like Mary.
You sounded like Arnold Schwarzenegger for a second. She was a little girl, and she talked like this. Daryl, Daryl, it's raining out. Daryl, go do the thing.
Don't use
Do
your
it,
head.
Daryl. Do it now.
I can't. You're so good at that.
It's my one thing. My only thing.
I love it.
I can do Arnold Schwarzenegger. Get to the chopper. Get to the chopper.
Oh, that's
Well,
awful.
Beautiful.
Oh
Well
my
done.
God.
No, someone has to
You
say
should. I wish you
that
told us that you invited him onto the chat. I wish you would have told us because
You're so
I
excited.
don't know. Oh, I'm all flattered and aghasted.
It was me all along. I'm surprised you guys didn't notice. I'm such a fantastic actor.
Oh my God.
I really enjoyed this. I hope we get to do it again. Tance, you've
Would love
got to
to.
do a script. We've all got to do our own scripts now. I think we forced everyone else to do it. So, typical Strange. That would
Now-
be fun to do.
Yes, I'll find a scene and do it for sure. I would love to. I gotta say, I was impressed with all of the writers of all of these scenes. They were all short scenes that made sense. They had a beginning, middle, and end.
Yeah,
They all made me interested in the characters,
Mhm.
and I thought they were like really good. I thought the dialogue was really, really good.
Yeah, it all made
Yeah, me-
sense.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Had a nice flow and not super complicated. Like even with the one that the spacey one that Oz and Tange read out. Like all right, so I don't really get like the importance of the black box and stuff, but you don't really need to because it's in characters are reacting to it and talking about it and stuff. So that really gave you all that you needed to know. You know, that was perfect.
Yeah. The characters
Yeah.
supplied the context.
Pardon me.
Yeah.
And what was really important to them was their relationships that they were talking about.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was the real story. Was Marcel's something's wrong at home apparently?
Yeah.
Thinks of getting a
You could
robot, and a
also-
robot servant would solve the problem.
You could also tell a lot about their personalities through that interaction that they had, which is very, very good.
You could really got that partnership, and that they've been through so much together and all that
And
stuff.
who is the boss, you know?
Yeah, bitch.
And also, I like bringing home a servant robot. I get that rationale. Maybe because I'm a guy, but I think that's a good idea.
Yeah,
That's
me too.
cool.
Actually.
I mean, it's
Make
neat
life a little
because even
easier.
though I don't know the whole story behind it, I feel like I could picture what the story was. And I really like that too. I like things that don't necessarily have to take you by the hand, but like we were saying, you have enough context. Like I imagine he found him in a dump heap or something and fixed him up and was like, all right, well, this is pretty cool. It's junk, but it's novel and I like it and I'm attached to it. So it's neat. You can relate to that in weird ways.
Speaking of the stories and feeling for the people, I really felt sorry for Kigo's mum. Tance did a very her role. Her
Super
acting had a
authentic,
lot
yeah.
of pathos to
I'd
it.
ask if you were really dying.
Yeah, that coughing was authentic coughing. Just like I said, Pitt's fake laughter was disturbingly exactly like her actual laughter. I'll just say it again for the listeners. I don't know.
It's all a front. It's all
Yeah.
a front.
I don't know about that.
Well, that's settled. We'll have to have a longer
She
one
could
to
call it
play. We'll have to have a longer play. That would be awesome. We need that to really to live our characters to wear them like
Yes.
an old shoe. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And yeah, just saying again, I love really good dialogue where you can really sort of think about the characters as being humans, and everyone really bought that. It was really good. I've written our silly plays with ourselves in space and all that kind of stuff, but that really wasn't human dialogue. That was just silly comedy dialogue stuff. Whereas this, you could believe that they are actually people, which is a very different thing, and I like that.
Mm-hmm.
playing off each
Yeah.
other. And characterization, as Terrence and Kit said. Yeah, it's awesome. All right.
Now we need to think of a way to say that all these stories were connected somehow, and it's all actually.
Yeah,
Marvel
in
universe.
this dark universe. They all happen in the Duckverse.
The duck.
There you go.
That's right.
In the pond.
Duckverse.
In the pond. Exactly. Different stratas of the pond. So, the Kigo Crater's Edge, that's happening with the bugs down below. And then we've got the used books area that's just around the edge of the pond. Yeah, come on, this metaphor doesn't work, but who cares?
Marcel and Wainwright are deep down inside the pond.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
weird
in the
pond
abyss.
stuff.
Yeah. And there you go.
Rosemary and Beth, I don't know what they were doing. All right. Well, this has been an excellent Quackcast. We want to do more of this script stuff. It was fun. Acting is awesome.
It was really fun. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, guys.
People are probably listening to us talk about our acting and going like, what are they talking about? They were horrible.
Yeah, well, that's true.
But we
All right. Thank you guys for being on the Quackcast, and thanks you everyone for submitting scripts. And we hope to have more of them. So keep on giving us scripts.
Yeah, keep them coming.
Yes. All right. Bye-bye, everyone.
Yay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.